Welcome to Module 2 of the Intro to Blockchain Maturity Model class. This module is all about what the BMM is and why it's important. Now that we understand what blockchain and blockchain solutions are, let's explore what GBA's blockchain maturity model is. So in this module, you'll learn what are maturity models, what is a blockchain maturity model, and why the BMM is important. Now let's take a look at maturity models in general to understand the benefits and uses of the model. Then we'll look at how this all relates to the blockchain maturity model. And when you want to look at what a maturity model is, one of the best things to do is to go back at one of the earliest maturity models, which was really put together back in the early 1990s, and that was a capability maturity model. And what happened back then is the Air Force realized that when they were acquiring software, generally the vendors that were delivering the software to the Air Force, they were generally delivering the software late, it was generally over budget, and when it was delivered, it didn't work, or it had lots of bugs. So other than that, everything was fine. The CMM was designed to assess the organization's software development process and provide a roadmap for improvement. It was based on the observation that organizations that followed a well-defined and disciplined process tended to produce higher quality software with fewer errors. The CMM framework was later expanded to cover other areas such as systems engineering, acquisition, and program management. The model remains widely used as a benchmark for organizations looking to improve their software development processes and practices. To understand process maturity, look at how it was defined with respect to software. The software process maturity is the extent to which a specific process is explicitly defined, managed, measured, controlled, and effective. And maturity implies the potential for growth in capability and indicates both the richness of the organization's software processes and the consistency with which it is applied in projects throughout the organization. Later, the CMM evolved into the CMMI, and then a whole number of maturity models sprouted up from there. Now, unlike the CMM, the BMM is not an organizational model, it is a solution model. And that's because in the Web3 environment, blockchain solutions are not always owned by an organization. Sometimes they're built, maintained, and operated by a community, and in some cases, even the general public. Web3 decentralized products and entities require a different type of governance than a traditional organization and product. And that's why the BMM is a solution model as opposed to a product or organizational model or standard. However, there are a lot of maturity models that have emerged from the software CMM, and there are many lessons that we can learn from those models. The attributes of these models have in common that they are used for benchmarking, acquisition, and for maturity or process improvement. So let's talk about what the blockchain maturity model is. The blockchain maturity model consists of 5 levels of maturity, and the scope includes 11 essential elements that must be achieved in each level. That means that starting with a very basic blockchain maturity model, we've identified 11 characteristics that we believe any blockchain solution must have in order to be trusted as a reliable solution. Now, it's important to understand that even though we talk about the blockchain maturity model as one particular thing, it's really a whole suite of products. And they include the BMM overview document, which describes all components of the surrounding ecosystem or environment. It also includes the blockchain maturity model requirements, which are specific obligations for each of the levels within each of the elements. In addition to that, since the BMM addresses functions that are applicable for all blockchain solutions, it's important to understand that some industries will have unique requirements. And for that reason, we've developed industry-specific supplements required to cover these variations. To conduct a blockchain maturity model assessment, rules and standards must dictate how those assessments are performed. And all of the people on the assessment team will need to go through training, so GBA developed a whole suite of training assets, which includes everything from the BMM course to our BMM appraisal team member training to lead assessor training. Additionally, GBA has specifically trained blockchain maturity model advisors that can help consult and guide clients on the implementation and appropriateness of a BMM requirement. So GBA also has a BMM professionals group made up of individuals, and they're equipped with a toolbox of templates, assets, and resources to help them conduct successful BMM engagements. So now that we know what the blockchain maturity model is, let's take a closer look at its unique features. One of the most notable aspects of the model is its protocol-agnostic design, which allows it to be universally applied to a variety of blockchain protocols. This is a remarkable achievement, considering the complexity of the blockchain landscape. To give you a sense of perspective about how universal the model is, for over 2 years, the team of experts would propose some text to be included in the model, and then immediately ask the question, does this work for Bitcoin? Does it work for Ethereum? Does it work for Hyperledger? Does it work for Hashgraph? Does it work for IOTA? Does it work for all of the hundreds of protocols in use? And if it didn't, we'd have to go back to the drawing board and start again, which in part is why it took us over 2 years to develop the blockchain maturity model. And after 2 years of work, the end result is quite impressive. So the GBA maturity model is a framework designed to help organizations evaluate and improve their blockchain capabilities. The scope of the BMM is specifically focused on blockchain solutions rather than organizational ratings or product and process standards. It takes a holistic approach, combining elements of the organization/community, technology, and process into a single solution model. This means that the BMM assesses the overall effectiveness of a blockchain solution from top to bottom, rather than just focusing on one aspect. So why is the blockchain maturity model important? Well, as you'll probably hear me mention a couple times during the course, governments and enterprises are in the process of acquiring blockchain solutions. And the problem is they don't have the knowledge or the framework to be able to determine a good one from a bad one. And so as a result of that, they have a very difficult time of taking the risk of looking at many of these newer, more innovative companies that think out of the box, have these new solutions, when the folks who are acquiring them don't really know whether it's a good idea or not. And this lack of industry standards really creates a very difficult environment for new, more innovative companies to be selected. Finally, there is currently no standardized way to compare apples to apples. What many project teams did was to come up with a great idea, create a pitch deck, raise funds, hire some programmers to bang out the code, and sell their solutions or tokens to anyone who was gullible enough to acquire them. However, they did not build the infrastructure to survive a critical loss of personnel or other business disruptions. They didn't do it because no one expected them to do it. There was no standards. The lack of industry standards meant that there was no roadmap or accountability, that those same activities that ensure organizations and products are resilient enough for the market need to be in place for blockchain solutions. And for that reason, the blockchain maturity model was established to solve these problems. The BMM is an internationally recognized standard that provides a clear roadmap for organizations to follow as they adapt and implement blockchain technology. By using the BMM as a maturity model, organizations can understand where they are in the blockchain journey and identify the most important areas for improvement. The BMM also allows organizations to measure and monitor progress in the adoption of blockchain technology, making informed decisions and prioritizing actions. Congratulations on completing Module 2. In this module, we explored the concept of maturity models and how they can help organizations assess their capabilities and identify areas for improvement. Secondly, we explored the blockchain maturity model, which is a maturity model specifically designed for blockchain technology. The BMM defines a set of maturity levels that organizations can use to assess their blockchain capabilities, including governance, interoperability, security, and more. And finally, we discussed the importance of a BMM and how it can be used as a roadmap for progress. Way to go on completing Module 2 of the Intro to Blockchain Maturity Model class. Make sure you take the quiz before moving on to the next module.